Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think it's time for us to get started. Thanks to all of you for coming to this special physics club. Usually, I do this at the beginning of the academic year as the first physics club of the year to talk a little bit about where we are in the department, news and updates, and give an outlook of the year. This year, it got pushed 3 weeks later because we had the special Silliman lecture. But I still wanted to do this to give you an outlook of where we are in the department, introduce some new people, and also at the end provide an opportunity for discussions and questions. So I added the word town hall to the title because I would like this also to be a forum, to hear your views on the department, your questions, suggestions, or anything you might want to ask me. So let's get started. My slides advance. Okay. The Yale Physics Department is a really active place. When I started as chair in 2019, it was a place that was really happening. We had lots of activities, outreach activities. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and things went mostly online. But I think over the last year, we have come back to having a really active place. We have many seminars, we have outreach activities. Last year, the Yale Physics Olympics was restarted again as one of the major outreach events. And this year, I would like to continue this. We are a department that has a very broad spectrum of activities. And one of the amazing things has been to see the engagement involvement from everyone, from staff, faculty, postdocs, students. And this is something that I hope we can continue this year. As we do our work, I just wanted to remind everyone, one of the things that's really important for us is that we are a community. We are a community of people working together. We spend a lot of time in the department together, and having principles, how we relate to each other is really important. And it was a few years ago that our Climate and Diversity Committee developed a statement of principles that really describe how we want to interact. It's respect, well-being, integrity, and community. And these are the things that whenever someone joins our department, we point out, we talk about. Our incoming graduate students heard about it. And I just wanted to put it up there again. It is really paramount to who we are in the physics department. And this is something that I hope we can continue as we move forward. And if anyone has any thoughts on this and suggestions how we can do better as a community, I would certainly like to hear this as we start our academic year. I also wanted to point out that we have a website that talks about all the activities that many of our department members are engaged in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion. And I encourage you to check it out and get involved. And it's been really great to see, especially the involvement of our students in this area. They have really driven the department forward over the last few years. Before I say something about the activities, I wanted to introduce some of the new and critical members of the department. I'm really pleased to say that we have now a full set in terms of almost full set of staff running the department in the chair's office. Jen Ongley joined us last year. She can't be here today. She's out sick. But together with Kirsten, they're really helping the place running, helping the chair's office running. So if you have any questions about what we do, the chair's office, if you want to meet me, come and see them downstairs. They're wonderful. And I'm so grateful to have them as part of the department. I'm also very pleased to say that we have now a new operations manager, director of administration and administrative services supervisor. Elena, Maria, and Leila, they've been instrumental in keeping us organized. And if you have not met them yet, please say hello. Their offices are around the coffee pot downstairs. So when you go to the SPL office, get your coffee, you might run into them. A lot of times they work in the background. They may not interface with many of you on a daily basis, but they are absolutely critical to what we do. And so if you have any questions about the building, the operations, they're your points of contact in the department. I also wanted to just remind everyone that the department could not run without the great team of both staff and faculty that do a lot of extra work besides research and teaching to actually run our programs. The undergraduate program is run by our Director of Undergraduate Studies, Professor Sarah Demers, together with Daphne Clem. She's the registrar, and they are an amazing team to keep all the undergraduate courses organized, to advise over 100 majors, get their courses enroll, make sure they can become majors in our department and that all requirements are met. I also wanted to point out that for all our programs, we have advisory committees, and the Undergraduate Advisory Committee is one body that helps us plan activities, helps advise me as chair and the undergraduate program team on things we could do better, things they would like to see. And it's their involvement that really makes the difference. Again, we have a great group of people this year that are already actively working on organizing things, and we are meeting with them monthly to get their impressions of the program and what we can do. I wanted to advertise one special physics club that we have planned for next Monday, and that is actually a physics club on the Nobel Prize. As many of you know, this week is the week when the Nobel Prizes are announced. Today it was in medicine for RNA, the development of the approach to the COVID vaccines. And this year we decided to do something special for the physics one. We want to have a special physics club next week that discusses the science of this year's Nobel Prize. Obviously, we have no idea what it is yet. And so over the next few days, starting tomorrow, 6 a.m., once it's announced, I will lean on my colleagues to help us pull together a discussion of this year's Nobel Prize. And we want to combine it with the annual hoodie ceremony that we have for our majors. So when students declare their major in physics, undergraduate students, we usually do a little ceremony, give them a sweater, a hoodie, and welcome them to the physics community. To make them really part of the department, we want to have them at the physics club. We've always heard that they want to hear more about cutting-edge research, and they want to listen to the physics clubs. So we'll start it next week with a special physics club on the Nobel Prize. It'll start at 3:30. We will have the hoodie ceremony. You get to meet our new majors, and then we'll do some science. And I'm very pleased that we'll actually get some introductory remarks by our own Professor John Wetlaufer. He's a Yale faculty. He has also an appointment in physics, and he's a member of the Nobel Prize Committee. So he will give us a perspective on the foundation and what it's like to do this. So I hope you will be there next week to join us for this. I also wanted to mention that we will continue our annual tradition of the Schultz Lecture in the undergraduate program. This is a lecture that is organized by undergraduate students for undergraduate students, and they usually get to pick and invite speakers. You are welcome to attend the Schultz lectures, but we usually sit in the background and let the undergraduates run it and ask the questions, etc. Last year we had Kirsten Perez, and so SPS and the undergraduate team are now working on organizing this year's lecture, and we'll announce it as soon as we have a date picked for that. On the graduate side, we have also, again, a wonderful team that actually keeps the program running and organized. We have our Director of Graduate Studies, Daisuke Nagai. I'm really grateful, for his continued work on that. We have Rona Ramos as the Graduate Program Coordinator. We have Stacy Watts as our Graduate Registrar. She just keeps everything organized. And then Helen Keynes continues as our Director of Graduate Admissions. So that is the role. She oversees the graduate admissions process, runs the committee, and oversees the selection of the next class of graduate students. And again, I'm super grateful for all their work on this. This is a big, big job, and we have weekly meetings and many issues to solve on a weekly basis, but they make it manageable. I just wanted to give you some updated numbers on where we are in our graduate program. We now have 36 faculty, primary faculty in physics. We also have a sizable number of secondary faculty. These are faculty who have primary appointments in other departments, but they have a secondary appointment in physics. And so they can advise our graduate students, you can work with them, and we actually see that a fair number of students after the second year decide to work with advisors in neighboring departments, applied physics, astronomy, some of the biology departments, and so on. So that gives our program quite a big, large group of advisors. And we have now grown to 166 graduate students in total. That's quite a sizable program. We had a very high yield in the last year, especially. And it's exciting to have so many graduate students. All of you have really diverse interests, and it's interesting when you come in. When students come in, they declare interest, but we often find that after the second or third year, some of the students work in neighboring fields and other fields. And so we have a fair number of physics students working in applied physics, astrophysics, systems biology, materials science, and even in the med school. Just wanted to remind everyone, we have an alumni page. So if you're interested in seeing what our graduate students do and have done, where they end up, check out this webpage that Daphne is maintaining. And Stacy, it lists the students, their thesis, where they end up, whether it's academia or industry. And it's a great resource to see what everyone is doing. And I wanted to take this opportunity to give a special welcome to our first year students. This year's class, I've had a chance to meet many of them in a variety of settings. Let's see, how many first year students do we have in the physics club? A few, a handful, okay. It sounds like everyone is busy with problem sets. That's what I heard at lunchtime today. So we had a lunchtime town hall session with the graduate students. And I think one of the themes that I heard was problem sets are keeping everyone really, really busy. So this is certainly something that we'll have to discuss. And I'll bring it to a faculty meeting with my colleagues. But I would encourage all of you, especially the first years, if you can find the time, please join the physics club. You are part of the community. Take the hour if you can to hear some science and meet other members of the department. I also just wanted to say thank you for all the feedback you gave us at lunchtime. It was important, eye-opening, interesting, and I think we've taken lots of notes, and we'll discuss this further in the coming weeks and months. As the undergraduate program, the graduate program has an advisory committee that we started 4 or 5 years ago. It's the Graduate Student Advisory Committee. And it's a group that consists of students from the various years, so that we have a representative cohort of students. Again, we meet monthly, talk about various issues in the graduate program. And also it's a channel for us to hear what are the issues and what's important for the program and on your mind. And I wanted to ask, I think we have a couple of GSAC representatives here, and I wanted to ask them to say just a couple of words about what's on their mind for this year and what their plan is, and especially the topics they wanted to pursue this year. Andrew, Katie?
Even get the microphone. Hey everybody, if you don't know me, I'm Andrew Neely. I'm a second year, and I'm one of the members of the GSAC. So we meet.
Hi.
And Katie's here. Katie's also a member of GSAC. I think CJ's here. He's also a member of GSAC. And Braden, great. We have a and Andy's on Zoom. That means all of us. Great. So we kind of like look over some like sort of graduate student related specific issues. Some of our big things this semester are the qualifying event, university fellowships, that's like funding stuff, and then hiring process and admissions. There's some other things that we're looking into as well. If you have any like questions or comments or want to talk to somebody about any of these issues, we're the people to reach out to. We're always happy to meet with people to talk about this stuff. Is there anything that you want to mention, Katie?
No, that's pretty much it. But the blue topics in the middle of the slide, if you have any opinions or experiences you want to share with us, our emails are down at the bottom, or you can just grab us wherever you find us.
Yep.
What is this slide?
Right. Great.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andrew. Yeah, as I mentioned, GSAC is really important for us and for me also to get feedback. And obviously anyone can contact the graduate program team or me directly, give us feedback. But through GSAC, we have channels to hopefully reach many of you. And thank you for the continued work that you're doing on GSAC. I think it really has already helped our program, and we will continue to do so. I also wanted to mention that we have activities related to postdocs, and Professor McGurry is the Director of Postdoctoral Affairs. We also have a postdoctoral advisory committee, PDAC. We're still looking for a couple of members there. So if you want to be active as a postdoc, please contact Professor Yuri, and you can help organize activities. This year, there was what I think is the first National Postdoc Appreciation Week. I hadn't heard about this before, but we recognized it, and we had a really nice pizza event, and I got to meet and talk to a number of you. And last year, we held a couple of discussion sessions about how to apply for jobs, how to go for interviews, what to look out for, things like that. So if you have ideas of what the department can do to support you as a postdoc, please let us know. We would like to build this program, and we want to make sure that postdocs are not forgotten. They are really key to the research activities in the department, and they often don't have a full program, but we want to do what we can to support you. I also wanted to just give a shout out to a couple of our staff who run the instructional labs, outreach and demonstrations. Steve Irons, Director of Instructional Labs. Caitlin Hansen, who joined us first as a preceptor, now as a lecturer. And Paul Noel, a instructional support specialist. If you have any needs for the instructional labs, if you have ideas for outreach, they are the ones to contact. And when we talk about the different activities and student groups at the end, I will ask Stephen to say a few words about what he's planning in terms of outreach, upcoming events, and all of you can get involved. So that's an activity where if you have some spare time, you like to do outreach, please contact Stephen, and I'm sure he has a job for you to help with things. I also wanted to take a moment to introduce our new faculty, and it's been really amazing to over the last year, we ran a number of faculty searches, and we were successful thanks to the work that many of you did, many of our faculty colleagues in recruitment. And we now have 5 faculty that this year, 2023, started building their labs and groups on campus. We have, Charles Brown, who's here, Laura Havener, she's over at Right Lab mostly. Chris Lynn will be arriving in January. Conrad Leonard, he will arrive in summer 24. And Chiara Mingarelli. So it is great to have 5 new groups that will add to our program. This is AMO and condensed matter physics, nuclear physics, biophysics, quantum sensing, and astrophysics. So it's a full spectrum. So if you are a new student, first-year student, there will be so many opportunities to get involved with really exciting research groups. So I wanted to just briefly advertise what they are doing. I'm not going to be able to do justice to all their research work, but I think it's important that everyone sees what we have been able to recruit to the department. Charles Brown is building a lab in the basement of SPL. You can actually see it downstairs. And this is a picture. I don't know quite how recent, but I think equipment is being assembled and optical tables are there. Vacuum equipment has arrived. And his group involves right now Andrew Neely, Ryan Everly, Cedric Wilson, and they are building experiments to essentially study quantum many-body physics. And this involves laser table. They will build a MOT plan to trap lithium this year, and then cool it and do a variety of experiments. So they want to study bosonic and fermionic quantum gases. They want to look at gases in optical lattices. And basically, this is at the intersection of AMO physics, quantum physics, and condensed matter physics. So you basically use what you can set up with AMO physics to do some condensed matter physics. If you're interested, I would encourage you to go and meet Charles, see his lab. I think this is really exciting, and they'll be building this up. And soon we'll be having experiments downstairs in SPL. Laura Havener is an experimentalist in nuclear physics. She is running a research program in high energy nuclear physics, and specifically she's working on the ALICE experiment at the LHC and the STAR experiment at BNL. And basically the idea is to understand QCD, look at the states of QCD by studying the quark-gluon plasma. So basically you have high energy collisions and you smash particles together, or nuclei, gold, and other collisions. And you're trying to learn something about the quark-gluon plasma. She's part of the relativistic heavy ion group that also involves Helen Keynes and John Harris. And as part of her research, she's also doing R&D on work towards the electron-ion collider. This is the next big accelerator that's going to be built at Brookhaven. It's currently in the planning phases. And it's a new machine that within 8 to 10 years will run at Brookhaven. And she and her group are doing R&D on photosensors for this new machine. So she's setting up a lab. She yeah, she will have students. And again, if you're interested, come and visit her in Wright Lab and check out what she is doing. And I think there's also always interesting connections on the theory side. And I know that, yeah, Ian Moult is often, yeah, discussing physics with the heavy ion group. So there's a connection between theory and experiment. Chris Lin is working in biophysics and in neural systems. He'll join us in January. He'll be sitting in the QBio Center in the Yale Science Building. And so he will extend the physics reach into that together with Ben Magda, who's over there. And his basic question is, how does neural function and structure emerge? So he's thinking about how neurons function. He's thinking about scales, networks. So this involves tools of statistical mechanics, information theory. How do you process information, and how do you connect all of this on small scales and large scales? So he's also really interested in network science. And you know that we have a center on campus that's looking at this. And Chris is also part of the Woodside Institute that looks at neuroscience. So he will be a physics professor sitting in QBio with connections to Woodside. And here are just a couple of his recent research projects. He's looking at non-equilibrium neural dynamics. He's looking at network structures and the scalability of models for all of these systems. So it's at the interface of statistical mechanics, information science, and biophysics. And then next summer, we will be joined by Konrad Lennart, who's currently at GILA in Colorado, at NIST and the University of Colorado at Boulder. He and his group are studying and developing devices for quantum sensing and are doing fundamental experiments to test and probe quantum sensing applications. And perhaps one of the most well-known things here locally on campus is his application of some of these devices for dark matter searches. The haystack experiment at Wright Lab is using his devices. And so the idea is that with quantum enhanced sensing, you can essentially improve the sensitivity of some of these searches. He's also looking at making devices that allow you to study interfaces between electrical and optical domains. And what he says is the entanglements of qubits. And so he's someone who will build things, who will make devices, and then do experiments at the interface of AMO, quantum science, dark matter searches, fundamental physics, as well as material science. And he'll be building up labs both here in the basement of SPL, as well as in the Yale Science Building next to Jack Harris and Simon Mockery and others. So, and then we have Chiara Mingarelli, who joined us in astrophysics, and she's an expert in gravitational waves. She's a member of the Nanograph collaboration, which had a big press release this summer. And her goal is to study the gravitational wave background and learn something about all of the sources of these gravitational waves. She is joined by a group of several students who have come with her from UConn and other places to us, Andrew Clyde, Bjorn Larsen, and London Wilson. And they're currently doing analysis of the data that is existing for Nanograph. And they are planning the next steps in that analysis. And Chiara sits in KT, the newly opened KT Tower with the astrophysics group. And I'm sure if you're interested, she would be more than happy to tell you more about her research in that. And this really adds to our existing program in research that we have had in the department. We have had a program in astrophysics and cosmology, AMO physics, biophysics, condensed matter theory, a little bit experiment, gravitational physics, nuclear particle experiment. So having all of the 5 new faculty join us will really broaden this program. And I'm super excited that they'll be here on campus with us so soon. Also just wanted to mention, especially for those of you who joined us this year, that Yale Physics collaborates with a number of centers, institutes, and entities on campus. We work closely with the Yale Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. Professor McGurry is the director. Our colleagues have joint appointments in the Yale Quantum Institute and Applied Physics. PEB is a program that we work with closely. We have connections to systems biology on West Campus. A couple of our colleagues are at the Energy Science Institute on West Campus. And then I mentioned already QBio. And of course, our experimental effort in nuclear particle and astrophysics is at the Wright Lab. So typically what I've done the last few years is always shown some pictures of construction. It never seems to go away. And this is a picture that I showed a couple of years ago when actually the construction around Sloan and the Klein Tower started. So this was, I think, in 21. Yeah, May 21 was this picture. So at that point, we have lots of blue fences around the department, around Sloan. And luckily, most of these fences have now are starting to disappear. We only have a couple around Sloan. And it was really exciting that just a couple of weeks ago, last week, the Klein Tower was opened. So we now have part of the physics department in the Klein Tower, and in particular, the astrophysics group and some of the particle physics members. They're on the 4th floor and partly the 5th floor of the Klein Tower. And if you haven't been in there, I encourage you to go in there. It's a really nice space, and it's very well renovated. And here are just a few pictures. It has a great view from the top. So if you take the elevator to the 14th floor and when it's open, you get a wonderful view. You can look all around. You see campus. You can see East Rock. You see the roof of Wright Lab. And then the spaces are now modern, well-connected between the floors. And this is a picture from the opening when Sarah had a cloud chamber in there. So we're actually doing particle physics in the Klein Tower. How many of you have been in Klein Tower? Oh, actually, great. So most of you, that's great. If you haven't, I encourage you to do so. Pretty soon, the connection between Sloan and Klein Tower will open, so then you can actually walk from the 1st floor of Sloan directly into the Steep Cafe and find your way into the Klein Tower. You don't even have to go outside anymore. This is a map of where physics is on Science Hill. And I like to show that we are a department that is distributed over several buildings. And that's just the nature of how it is. But with the move into Klein Tower, we are now more located around the central courtyard on Science Hill, plus Wright Lab. So we're starting to have some critical mass around Science Hill. We do have also still some presence on West Campus. In particular, we have a couple of faculty members, Eduardo da Silva Neto and Stephen Konesny, who work in the ESI Institute, and we keep some looser connections with systems biology. So physics does have some outposts, but most of our activity is now here on Science Hill. Now that the blue fences are disappearing around Sloan, there will be new blue fences appearing very soon. And I just wanted to briefly announce that. As you may know, I've talked about this in the past before. We are actively planning now the new Physical Science and Engineering building, which will be a big complex on the north end of Science Hill. It's going to be a building complex that will be topical for quantum science, material science, It will house a couple of institutes. In total, about 45 or so PIs and research groups will be in there. And so now that Klein is renovated, Sloan is essentially done, all of the construction activity will move up north, and there will be a lot of activity over the next few years there. It will happen in 2 phases. There is a phase 1, which will involve extension of Wright Lab to make space for Wright Lab West labs. They will be moved in there so that the old Wright Lab West building, which is starting to fall down, can be demolished. And then there will be a phase 2, which will be the main building for PCB. And just wanted to advertise that there will be a town hall on November 3rd, I believe, held by the provost office about the plans for PCB. And more information will be forthcoming there. I just wanted to remind you what it actually means for physics. We have engagement in there. I'm one of the co-chairs of the faculty committee planning this. And several of our groups are heavily involved in planning and will occupy the space. The Wright Lab West groups, they will move into the Wright Lab addition, which will be to the east of the high bay area of Wright Lab. On the southern end, where the blue portal is currently, there will be a new building, a new entrance that will house an instrumentation development center, which will be a university-wide center to support instrumentation development. And all of this is scheduled to be completed around 26 or so. So over the next 3 years, there'll be lots of blue fences up north. And if you think it's hard to go between SPL and Wright Lab now, it's probably not going to get easy, unfortunately, but we'll have to make it work. That's just, but I think the end result will be really exciting. And then after that, Wright Lab West will be demolished, and this blue big box, the phase 2 building complex will be built. So this picture here is no longer fully up to date. The rendering looks different, but you'll see all the updated pictures in a month or so at the town hall on November 3rd. And just to give you a preview, this is what the view of Wright Lab with the addition and the new instrumentation development center will look like. This is roughly from Whitney Avenue when you enter to the Peabody parking lot. And so this is a view. If you stood in the parking lot right now and you look towards the blue portal, this is what it will look like in the future. There will be a new building facade and a new entrance to make this really an entrance to Science Hill from Whitney Avenue. And then in the back there, the gray areas, that's the phase 2 building for PCB. So all of this is going to be exciting for physics, but in the meantime, we'll have more blue fences to deal with. So with all of this in the works, one of the things that we want to do in the department this year is prepare a new strategic plan. We have had lots of hires last year, recruitments. That's really exciting. We have changes in our infrastructure. We have new building space. And we want to think about this year, where do we go from here? And that involves research, that involves teaching, it involves who we are in the department. And so what I'd like to invite all of you is to contribute to this discussion. So I will organize some sessions and also probably surveys on what you think is important for Yale physics and what is our vision for Yale physics. Where do you see us 10 years from now? Where would you like to see us 10 years from now? And that will all be important input for the strategic planning. With the graduate town hall that we had today at lunchtime, I already got a lot of input on what many of you think about the graduate program and where it should be heading. So we'll certainly also think about that. But I think it's important to take a broad look. And we'll try to put all of this together into a plan that gives us a direction for the future. So I just wanted to at the end now say a couple of things about some of the committees and groups that we have this year. We will reboot and restart the Climate and Diversity Committee. We will be looking for people to get involved. If you have interest, please contact us. Rona will help lead it. We've been trying to do shared leadership plus a direction. And I think what we've seen in the last couple of years, just distributed shared leadership is difficult in the sense that you don't really make progress on things. So we're trying to identify what can the CDC, or maybe we need a new acronym, what can this committee work on this year. So again, your input is welcome. We would like to make it an active committee again that helps shape what we can do in the department. We continue to be engaged in APS IDEA, which is an APS-wide initiative on inclusion, diversity, and equity. They organize workshops. We have a group of people that stay connected with their activities. And again, this is something that also feeds into our Climate and Diversity Committee. And we will continue that activity. Again, this is essentially for anyone at every level. Students can get involved, postdocs, faculty, everyone is welcome. And then we started an outreach committee, and I've asked Stephen Irons to chair it. This is meant to be a committee that helps us organize, coordinate the many different outreach activities we already have in the department and think about new ideas. Many of you have already done outreach. There are summer activities, pathways to science, all of this. Physics has been involved. We now want to coordinate this so that we have a more coordinated program. And Stephen is thinking about that. And maybe, do you want to say a few words about what your thoughts are and what you're also planning to do?
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to announce the outreach committee here and thank everybody who's so far agreed to be a part of it. I also just want to say you can be a friend of the committee, which means you can sort of give us ideas, tell us you're interested in helping out when the time comes, things like that. But as Karsten briefly mentioned, our big outreach events that are coming up are GSI, which is our Girls Science Investigation, which is in early November. So there's opportunities to help there. In the spring, we'll be doing the YPO, Yale Physics Olympics, which is a long-running outreach event. And what I'm planning for this month, the weekend, the Friday before Halloween, is the Halloween demo show, which, oh man, it got rid of my my word art. Oh well, that's too bad. I really worked hard on that. But anyway, so I'm trying to make this up the production values a little bit. So I want to have sort of a host, you know, who sort of guides the show, and then people come up and do the demonstrations. So I'm looking for people with skills in these areas. And then I'm hoping to have a lecture and then like a little intermission, and people come out, and we might have some presenters, faculty, grad students, whomever, with some hands-on type demonstrations. I'm figuring the cloud chamber and some other sort of smaller, closer in type of demonstrations during the intermission. And then they come back and we do the whole demo show. There'll be lots of lights and darkness and things like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I sent out an email about it and then you heard nothing. But tomorrow at 4:30, we're going to have our first meeting. It will be a mixture of online and Zoom, depending upon who can come or not. And we'll try and hash out who wants to do what. And I'm working on a list of demonstrations for Friday the 27th. So that's it. Any other ideas you have about demonstrations or outreach, please come see me or any other members of the committee. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much, Stephen, for organizing this and taking this on. So, I mean, if anyone is interested, there are lots of opportunities, no shortage of opportunities to get involved. And lots of darkness sounds good here. So yeah, just a slide on Yale Physics Olympics that Stephen mentioned. We have now moved this to the spring, I will believe, on a regular basis instead of the fall. So that will be coming up in the spring semester. Student teams competing, and again, lots of volunteers needed. You get a fancy T-shirt and free food. So it's a good thing to get involved in. And then Girls Science Investigation is a program that was started here, I think, over 10 years ago by Bonnie Fleming and Sarah Demers also ran it, and Rona Ramos. And this continues now with support from Pathways for Science, and we'll continue to run it. And they're always looking for volunteers who can help with it. I just wanted to say a couple of words about the many other groups that we have. We'll just briefly advertise them. SPS, our undergraduate community. They gave me the slide, and I love that they're at the center of things. So that's, I think that's clearly a good worldview. Faculty, all of department, all of this is around it. SPS is at the center. So they're the future, and so yeah, let's treat them like that. I should mention that we are revamping the undergraduate lounge. We got support from the university for some new furniture. And Sarah is working with SPS on a program on some lunchtime talks, homework sessions. Now that we no longer have the coffee shop in the Hill House Mansions, which was a hangout for a lot of students, we hope that our undergraduate lounge on the 3rd floor can become more of a hub for physics majors to actually gather, do homework, interact. And so especially if you as a faculty get invites to join the students for lunch for a 20-minute lunchtime talk on the research you do, please accept. They are really keen and eager to learn more about what we all do. This is something I've heard year after year. They want to learn more than just the textbook and the classes. We have a large number of student groups and activities, and this list is actually growing every year. I'm pleased to say that physics supports a lot of these, a lot of the groups, essentially all of them financially. We also support their programming, but it's really great to see that so many of you have ideas of what to do and take the initiative to actually implement it. So I wanted to, in the last few minutes, give those of you who are here the opportunity to say a couple of words about your groups, what you're planning for this year, and make the pitch, especially if you're looking for people to get involved and have some activities. So GSA is also working closely with GSAC. Would anyone like to say a couple of words about GSA? Do we have?
Karsten, I can say something on it.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Katie.
Hi, guys. So apologies that we have filled the last slot, so this slide is not fully updated. Our new representative is Nathan Surrey, a second year. And so we have our pictures up here on the top. We are all part of the Graduate Student Assembly, or the GSA for short. I'm repping the shirt right now. But essentially what we are is a student government for graduate students. We have 5 representatives from physics, and basically we want to hear about your concerns. If you're a graduate student and you have questions or concerns about the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, we want to advocate for you. And so please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. And yeah, we do a lot of advocacy. If you have any questions, you can visit our website or come talk to me.
Thanks so much, Katie. And let's go on. We talked about GSAC already. And I think Andrew wanted to say something about Local 33.
It's me again. So Local 33 is a graduate worker union at Yale. So we are negotiating our contracts with the university right now. We've been doing so since March. It's been going very well. We currently have something like 75% of the contract already agreed on, everything that's not financial. We're bargaining over our wages and healthcare right now. We have a meeting on Wednesday, October 4th. That's this Wednesday at 5:30 down south. There's a group of people that are going to walk down from SPL together at 5. So you should meet up with them and come down to this meeting. And we're going to like have like a full form update meeting where you can like interface with the language that we've already won, and then look at the language that we are looking at for wages and healthcare. If you have any questions or you want to get involved with the union, you can definitely let me know, or Matt Mitchell, or Ridge Liu. And our emails are up here. Or you can just like find us haunting SPL. We're here. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Andrew. And we have Quark. Would anyone like to say anything about Quark?
Matt, are you online?
Okay.
So, hi guys, I'm Emily. I'm a second year grad student, and Quark is our basically queer in physics group. We have different events like tie-dye events, movie nights, game nights, bagel brunches. It's really fun, and it's a great way to sort of meet others in the community and get involved. So if you are not on the mailing list and want to be, you can email Matt. His email's up there, or honestly, you can also email me or like Discord us if you have that. Just, you know, send out a rave and get involved, and we'll put you in touch.
That says email does not have an S in it.
Yeah, so that email's wrong. Don't email that email. I think the next one is WIT plus, which yeah, okay. So there's also this other fun group, WIT plus. It's our women and gender minorities group for, I think, yeah, physics, astronomy, and applied physics. And I'm not going to read everything on there, but we okay. You can scan that QR code for I think there's a few different links for social media and to get onto the mailing list. And like earlier today, Molly Watts sent out an email with a when to meet for anyone who's interested in joining the executive board. Essentially, that's just a group of people who are involved in sort of organizing, planning some of these things, and then like working with communication, making sure everyone else in the department knows about it. Yeah, it's really fun, and you should get involved. And yeah, feel free to, again, contact me or Molly or I think Katie as well. Anyways, find a woman in physics and ask them about it. Yes, now I'm done.
Then we have the History and Foundations of Physics reading group.
Hi, my name is Yaron Tokayer. I'm a third-year graduate student in the department. We started the History and Foundations of Physics reading group last year, and the focus of the group is on the sorts of questions that come up in the study and practice of physics that are not strictly scientific questions, or that cannot be answered within the domain of science. So these are philosophical questions like, you know, what is science, or what are the goals of physics? Is there an end to physics? Epistemological questions like what are our access points to knowledge? How intelligible do we expect the world to be? What exactly do experiments teach us, or do we expect them to teach us? Things like that. Social cultural questions like, you know, what are the different ways in which scientific knowledge is spread? How do we decide between competing theories? how do certain ones gain traction and other ones don't? So stuff like that. Practical questions like how do we map from our theories to the real world? So famous examples, the measurement problem in quantum mechanics. And also topics within physics that are kind of on the fringe usually end up falling into philosophy of physics. So that includes like the measurement or like interpretations of quantum mechanics or the arrow of time, stuff like that. We're an interdisciplinary group, so we draw from a lot of departments, not only the physics department, but also astronomy and applied physics, and philosophy and history and mathematics. And our group consists of faculty as well as graduate students, postdocs, and undergrads. So everyone's welcome, and it's a group of people that wouldn't usually or normally be around a table together. We always serve dinner and desserts. And I just want to see if there's anything else I didn't mention. Oh yeah, our most recent meeting was just last week. It was on the topic of replication in science and replication of experiments. Our next one's going to be toward the end of October. Hopefully you'll find out about it either if you're on our mailing list. If you want to be, you can let either myself or Molly Watts know. And we also have a website. And the last thing is that thank you to the physics department for our funding, and also to the Frankie program in science and humanities at Yale.
Great. Thanks, sir. And the next one we have Kimball Smith.
Yes, the Kimball Smith series was founded by Talia a couple of years ago, and it tackles these issues at the boundary of science and society. With physicists, we make impact in understanding how the world works. But and we does a lot of impact, and we can make even more impact if we can help the government to make more informed decisions. And that's kind of the focus of the Kimball Smith series. And in the past years, we have done events on nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, and climate change. So for each event, we will have a speaker, which one is from the natural science side and the other is from the policy side or government side. And we will have a moderator asking the two speakers several questions, and they will talk to each other. And then after the panel discussion, there will be a small group discussion for the participants to talk among themselves. We have seen interesting interactions, not only between the panelists, because they are from opposite disciplines, so they may not have met before, but also from the small groups, because the participants ranging from undergrads, graduate students, and also community members affiliated or not affiliated with Yale. And I think we have another page. Yeah, and so this slide actually from last year. That's the 3 events we have done in the past year. In the coming year, we will look at genetic engineering and how its impact on ethics and the society, and also quantum computing. And since I'm originally from China, I'm interested in how the US-China relationship affects the international scholars in US universities. And another potential topic is how the semiconductors and the factories and the geopolitics related to the semiconductors. And this is our, you can see our website here, or you can just Google Alice Kimball Smith, which was a historian graduated from Yale, and this and it's also the namesake of the series. And we have, in addition to Talia and me, we also have Matt Mitchell as one of our co-organizer, and the Mason Abril, who is an undergrad majoring in physics and international relationships. So if you know them, you can also reach out to them. Talia, do you want to add anything?
Just one quick thing. Yeah, thanks so much, Li Hao. Yeah, so I'll just note, if you're interested in getting involved, first of all, you can attend our events, and they're very participatory, as Li Hao mentioned, with the small group discussions. But also, if you want to get involved in organizing or want to attend some of our meetings where we kind of do readings to prepare for the events, to learn in depth about the topics, come up to one of us or email us to get more involved. So thanks very much.
space primer.
Oh yeah, sorry. One more thing. We're doing one more new program this year, which is we're working on an outer space policy and law primer. So this is organized by a group called the Yale Foreign Policy Institute in collaboration with the U.S. Air Force Academy. And we're coming in to bring some like technical background, bring in some of the past Kimball Smith speakers to give expertise. And we might be looking for some more science-focused graduate and undergraduate students to get involved. So if that sounds like it might be interesting, come up to us as well, and we'll see if there's a spot available on the team. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And yeah, last week's event, speaker on the nuclear, the risk of nuclear war also was partly organized by Kimball Smith. So I think one more graduate theory seminar. I don't know if anyone is here would like to say a couple of words about that. Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Mark. I'm a fourth year, so this is a graduate theory seminar. It's a relatively casual, every other week, just like journal club, where we discuss issues in theoretical physics, broadly speaking. We're open to all grad students, regardless of your subfield. And new this semester, we're going to have a couple more lectures. Some of these will be by folks that are here, but we've also gotten some funding to have external people looking for some like early career theorists to invite here to talk about their work. Yeah, so we're just getting started for this semester. Last year, we covered some things in conformal field theory and generalized symmetries. This semester, starting off, we'll have some talks about algebraic topology in physics. And we're still looking to, see what we're going to cover this semester. So if you have anything you'd like to take a look at, or any speakers that you'd like to come here, yeah, please stop by and suggest those, and we'll yeah, see where the semester takes us. Feel free to email any of us, Joseph, Jingping, or myself, or come find us as well to be added to the mailing list. We usually have snacks.
Everyone has snacks. Food is always good. Yeah. So I think, and then physics happy hour. Everyone is probably familiar with this. Runs at the last week of the month, I believe, and sometimes outside, sometimes indoors. We have a happy hour crew organizing it, and this is one of the pictures from last year. So yeah, it's always a good bunch getting together for food. So with that, I'm just looking at the time. We should wrap it up. So this is Yale Physics in a nutshell. When I think about this year, I'm amazed by the number of activities that all of you are organizing. It's a really active department. I think it's growing, lots to look forward to. And this year in particular, I hope we can all together develop a vision for where we want to go next. With that, thanks very much for coming. If you have any questions, I'm happy to discuss them.